What if I told you that the world as you know it was shaped by just a handful of days, ordinary moments that turned extraordinary, setting the course of history in ways no one could have imagined? Today, we're going to dive into four such days, moments of invention, exploration, and tragedy that forever altered the way humanity lives, thinks, and connects. Gutenberg's printing press. Our story begins in 1440 in Mainz, Germany. The world at this time was a far cry from what we know today. Knowledge was scarce, education was reserved for the privileged few, and books were painstakingly copied by hand. Each page was a labor of love, requiring weeks or even months to complete. Then came Johannes Gutenberg, a man whose idea would turn the tide of history. Gutenberg's printing press wasn't just another invention, it was a revolution. Using movable type and a screw press, he created a system that allowed for the mass production of books. His first major project, the Gutenberg Bible, was printed in 1455. For the first time, ordinary people had the opportunity to access texts that were once locked away in monasteries and castles. The printing press didn't just make books cheaper and faster to produce, it democratized knowledge. But why does this matter? Think of it this way. Before the printing press, spreading an idea could take decades or even centuries. After the press, ideas could cross borders in weeks. It fueled the Protestant Reformation, spreading Martin Luther's 95 Theses across Europe. It accelerated the Renaissance, helping scientists like Galileo and Copernicus share their groundbreaking theories. Even revolutions from the American to the French owe part of their momentum to the power of the printed word. What's remarkable is how this invention set the stage for the world we live in today. The rise of newspapers, novels, textbooks, and even the content you're watching right now can all be traced back to that one day in Gutenberg's workshop. The moon landing. Fast forward to July 20th, 1969. The world was a very different place, yet it shared one thing in common with Gutenberg's era: a thirst for discovery. The Apollo 11 mission wasn't just about technology, it was about proving what humanity could achieve when it dreamed big. Imagine the scene. Millions of people are gathered around their televisions, their radios crackling with static. This wasn't just a moment for America, it was a moment for the entire world. And then, the words, "That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind." With those simple words, Neil Armstrong became the first human to set foot on another world. The moon landing wasn't just a race against the Soviets. It was a race against the limits of human ingenuity. Think about what it took to make it happen. Computers the size of rooms with less power than your smartphone. Rockets engineered to perfection, with no room for error. Astronauts trained to withstand the unimaginable pressures of space. And all of it culminating in a single moment: the first human footprint on the lunar surface. The technologies developed for the Apollo program didn't just stay in space. They transformed life on Earth, leading to advancements in materials, communications, and even medical devices. The World Wide Web. Now, let's jump to August 6th, 1991. There was no fanfare, no global audience. But on that day, Tim Berners-Lee quietly launched the first ever website. At the time, the internet was a tool used mostly by scientists, a network of computers sharing basic files. But Berners-Lee's World Wide Web changed everything. The first website was simple: a plain page explaining what the web was and how to use it. But that simplicity was its genius. It introduced a revolutionary concept: hyperlinks. With one click, users could jump from one piece of information to another, creating a web of connections that spanned the globe. This wasn't just a technological innovation, it was the birth of a new way of thinking. At first, the web grew slowly. Academics used it to share research, and niche communities formed around shared interests. But as it evolved, it transformed every aspect of human life. Communication, commerce, entertainment, none of it would ever be the same. Today, there are over 1.5 billion websites, each one a testament to Berners-Lee's vision of a connected world. Think about how much of your life revolves around the web. Social media, streaming services, online shopping, even this video, all of it traces back to that one day in 1991. In just a few decades, the internet went from a niche tool to the backbone of modern society. And it all started with one simple idea: to make the world more connected, one hyperlink at a time. 9/11. Finally, we come to September 11th, 2001, a day that began like any other, but ended with the world forever changed. The clear blue skies over New York City were shattered as 4 hijacked planes turned into weapons of mass destruction. The Twin Towers of the World Trade Center collapsed. The Pentagon was struck. A 4th plane crashed into a field in Pennsylvania, stopped by the brave actions of its passengers. The loss of nearly 3,000 lives was devastating, but the impact of September 11th went far beyond the immediate tragedy. It reshaped global politics, ushering in the war on terror and a new era of heightened security. Airports became unrecognizable, with invasive screenings and restrictions. Governments expanded surveillance programs, balancing national security with personal freedoms. Yet, in the midst of the chaos and heartbreak, there were stories of heroism. First responders rushed into danger to save lives, many losing their own in the process. These 4 days, Gutenberg's printing press, the moon landing, the birth of the World Wide Web, and the tragedy of 9/11 are just a few of the moments that define human history. If you made it to the end, make sure you click the subscribe button for more videos like this.